Okay, welcome to Fatty Files 4. What are we talking about in this one? So, I did an experiment this past weekend. This was the weekend of President's Day, and I had a thought. I have been doing very good on my weight loss, was pretty much on track where I want that to be. It was a 3 day weekend. It was my first paid weekend holiday for the new job. And Valentine's Day. It was a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? New moon was, I think, yesterday. So all that stuff, right? My first Tuesday back this week. And the experiment was to kind of revisit the Zoldrake on a level just to figure out how much hold it still had on me, right? Um, So basically, what I did was for 3 days, skip the gym, ate like I used to. I even drank some rum. Had a nice bottle of rum over that 3 day period. Um, yeah, just kind of. I did other things like worked around the house and stuff like that. It's not like I was a complete lazy bum, but I just wanted to get some sort of gauge or level about how far that I've kind of come with things and test the waters to feel what it would feel like to return to that manner of being for a few days. I'm here with the report. Okay. I think why would you do that? Why would anyone do that? I think that it's important to understand the concept of indulgence versus compulsion, and also the idea of indulging in things um, and not just saying, I can't do that anymore, right? And if you do really get something out of your life, you need to, I think, be really upfront with the fact that you don't really want to do that thing anymore. We're talking a lot about addiction with the Zoldrake, with food. Alcohol is a big one that is really property of the Zoldrake, just because I defined I don't define like drugs as like part of the Zoldrake. It's kind of its own separate thing, which I'm sure I'll get to eventually. However, with alcohol, it's just so connected with food that um, it's really part of it. So, yeah, the report is thus. I think I said all I wanted to say on the fact that if you just want to make sure you're not giving something up that you still enjoy and you might have gotten control of. And I think that's the fact with me and alcohol at this point. Like, I used to really enjoy it. I wanted to go back and test those waters. I didn't really enjoy it. It was nice, but it was eh. It just I've the results of feeling the way that I did, not really, I mean, not hungover, but just groggy and kind of sluggish. I think that when you're really feeling the effects of the Zoldrake and you're just in it, you're kind of caught inside of its gaze, you don't understand how bad you feel. And this was also a reminder of, hey, this is how you feel after 3 days of this. How are you feeling after years of this, right? It became the new normal, but by comparison, it's pretty rough. So, felt rough, felt just disoriented a little bit, felt just pissy, I think is a good way to put it. Not in a great mood. The gym, one thing that I did realize with this little experiment is I feel there for a minute I felt really like, oh, the gym is like a addiction of its own now, right? And it kind of is, but I actually enjoyed the break off. I felt a little bit bad for not going for 3 days, but I also did feel some, I think, positive benefits just with less fatigue and stuff like that. So maybe I do need to end up working in more off days to the gym, which I'm not really a fan of. I think I'm going to go to the next season the way that I am. But yeah. And oh, I also ate some fast food, which I haven't done in a long time. I literally had 2 giant cheeseburgers back to back. I can still do that. It wasn't really off-putting. It wasn't like I vomited or felt ill or anything like that. But again, it just contributed to the sluggishness and kind of blah feeling. So, um, by the numbers on the scale, it was a 9 pound gain. Now, people who know anything about weight, I mean, like, yeah, that's a lot of food in your stomach at one time. That's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, that's going to come off pretty quick. Um, but it was just a fact of, if you were looking at my month of February 2026, I basically undid almost exactly all of the weight that I had lost during the month. Well, now it's 2 weeks, which alarms some folks because, like, you lost 9 pounds in 2 weeks. Yeah, but it's like I'm also doing things like this where I'm moderating things and not trying to not go down too quickly. So that was a report for this little experiment of 3 days of not eating. Also, kind of, I connect tarot really closely to the seasonal cycles and the moon cycles, and I intentionally did not do anything tarot wise for the new moon, which I probably will tonight, maybe. But yeah, I think that all in all, it was worth it. It was kind of, some time off from the grind a little bit, but I think I learned what I needed to learn. The biggest thing that I've gleaned is I think I'm just kind of done with the alcohol altogether. Um, I think that it's not something that I really want to return to, and just something that, yeah, I've grown out of. I think is the biggest deal there. Also, a huge part of the Zoldrake is the alcohol, just because it's calories in itself, right? Um, what is one beer? One light beer is like 120 calories or something like that, right? And I think it's similar for a shot. I think the clearer alcohols might be a little less than the darker ones, but yeah, that's a lot of calories to intake for just drinks. And oh, I did stick with diet soda. I couldn't really bring myself to, like, I'm like, oh, I'll have some sodas, but couldn't bring myself to do the sugariness. I did have a few chugs of pink lemonade, which is, of course, has calories in it. So I did not track calories either. So there was absolutely no calorie tracking on what I did eat. Ugh, yeah. Alcohol, big part of the Zoldrake. It's, in addition to its calories, it's just the idea of having to have that drink or drinks with your meals, right? I was a big beer and food guy, right? The only exception on the drinking thing is I really like German beer for some reason, and there's a couple spots around here that have a plethora of that. Um, but yeah, that might be the only exception. But I really just think I'm done with it. I don't think that I'm up to the snuff of going back into that. Probably had some alcoholism stuff going on too, um, which contributes to the laziness, contributes to the eating. Yeah, something to look out for. I'm gonna go through every individual card on what how they relate to the Zoldrake, but really off the top of my head here, I'm thinking about the Minor Arcana. I'm thinking about the Nine of Cups, the very Santa Claus card. Um, I call it the Santa Claus card, but just kind of the emotional fulfillment and fulfilling your cups too much is a literal sense of that. And then also the Three of Cups is also kind of a very big party card. And then just in general, Major Arcana, looking at the devil on that, just because, you know, the idea of temptation. And I will speak highly of the devil energy. That's basically the positive side of the devil, is using what I just did. It's an example of what I just did. Like going back, understand that you're doing something sort of not really dangerous in this situation, but sort of dumb, right? Like I said, I undid 9 pounds of work. You know, it's never good to really imbibe in alcohol, no matter how little. It's a poison. There's no like solid on the books reason that I should have done that, but the positive side of the devil energy is something that drove me to do that, because you have to, on some level, deal with the devil, right? I think that that's very a very apropos way of putting that. But I think we are done with the day. The plan, for the video for the day, yeah, get back at work here in a minute, and then gym afterwards. Oh, I bet the gym's gonna be rough. Yeah, God, just stretching is gonna be rough. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think the plan next is to start going through each individual card. We will start with Major Arcana. We will go Fool to World. I've already started attempting that in previous videos, but I really like the idea of just doing a talk through and then uploading my ideas without any real notes or anything, other than maybe a couple bullet points, just because it's more authentic. Even though there's ahs and ums and ands and misspeaks, I do think that it's the more authentic way to do that. So, yeah, until next time, bye.